Hey folks, so on my video on the Selaginella uncinata profile care and propagation, I recently had a user concerned because his Selaginella uncinata was turning yellow. And while it didn't seem to be the case for him, I thought I would share with you one reason why your leaves may be turning yellow that is not typically mentioned. Typically, when one decides to do a web query and scour the internet, and they give you different reasons, which typically are about the same for any plant: too much water, too little water, too hot, too cold, in a drafty area, or maybe needing some fertilizer. And while these are some plausible reasons why some of your leaves could be turning yellow on your plant, there is another reason, which is simply the fact that some leaves are older and they're dying off. As plants grow, the older leaves die, the new ones grow, and essentially, if your plant isn't suffering utter collapse, then that could be a simple reason. You want to make sure they're not some of the younger leaves that are turning yellow, but the older leaves. So now let me give you a couple examples. We'll start with my Selaginella uncinata. So I have the Selaginella uncinata, which I purchased recently. My first one actually did die, so I had to find another one. And one thing to note, it's in a square pot. The portions hanging over are nice, lush, and green, and you can see roots dangling. I could typically cut these and grow them in another pot. The center, the square region, completely turned yellow, and now you can see that I have new growth emerging from between them. So when they propagate in the pot, they stick them here, and then it eventually gets overgrown by the time the buyer purchases them. Sometimes if they don't sell fast, or after a buyer purchases them and they grow. So you have the new growth around, the older growth in the middle that's starting to die off, but newer growth eventually emerging from that area as the new growth takes over. So this is the first example. Let me show you the second example. Here, as you can see with my Cebu Blue Pothos, it still looks pretty happy and healthy, but I do have some yellowing leaves. And when you look at them, let's examine. For example, right here, if I can get these to show you, you see where the growth tip is, and this is further down. It's not at the growth. Same thing here, you have the growth extending all the way here with the leaf yellowing towards the center of that branch. Same thing here, and also here it's further down on the node that one just broke off. So I usually don't break them off until they're so withered that I can easily pull them off so I don't do any further damage. And then here, that one I think is about to come off. Yeah, but you can see this plant is growing all the way there. So it's turning yellow, and it doesn't look like it's going to be healthy, except for the fact that these leaves are actually the older leaves that are dying off as the newer leaves are taking over. Now, I do have a concern, slight different topic, that the Cebu Pothos that I purchased has little bumps, and I don't know if this is some virus infecting the pothos or if it's something normal to the plant. If it's something you know the answer to, please leave a reply in the comments, because that would help me out and I'd be appreciative. Thank you. And here's a really good example how this leaf has all these specks. It looks like something was biting at this, and these leaves were like that when I purchased this plant. I found it at Lowe's, believe it or not. And these plants, small pot is typically $12 to $15 or more, and this one was $15 in a hanging basket. And these are the typical plants you get from like Costa Farms. I think they're the ones who grew this one. So anyway, they must have a viral infection on these leaves or something. But if it's something anyone knows the answer to, as mentioned earlier, please leave information for me in the comments, and thank you. So anyway, that is one of the reasons why your plant may be having leaves turning yellow. I hope you found this video useful and informative. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and happy planting.